course, this is for my class assignment on the discipline. The discipline I'm using is forgiveness, and we just preached about it and spoke about it, so it's kind of like teaching somewhat, but we're just going to go a little bit further and try to get into a real world atmosphere of forgiveness. Anybody want to try to give a definition of what they think forgiveness is?
My definition of forgiveness is when someone does something to you, or whether it be intentionally or unintentionally. Forgiveness is when you say, I forgive you, or try to forget about what they have done and move on.
That's a good definition. Nothing wrong with that definition whatsoever. I think we hit most of the high points of forgiveness, and that's exactly what it is, more or less. Try to forgive that person for what they've done, and you try to move on. Too many times when we try to express forgiveness, we don't truly forgive because we are holding on to whatever it is that person has done. That's not forgiveness. You're still punishing that person, but not only you're punishing that person, but you're also punishing yourself.
I think if we break the word apart, for and give, is when you give, even though that person has hurt and has taken something, or that situation has taken something from you or hurt you, is to give back what was taken for your own good.
That's pretty good.
Because anytime you are hurt or your feelings are hurt in some way, it takes something from you. It takes some of your power. It takes some of your esteem. It takes something from you. So when you are for, say, I'm for giving my power back, for giving my self-esteem back, whether you give it to me or not, whatever you took from me, I'm for giving it back to myself.
A lot of times you can't use an etymology to break a word down. It gives you the definition in itself. Thank you. It's like we talked about in the sermon. Absence of forgiveness, basically what it does, it fuels more hatred, fear, self-righteousness, and wrongdoing. When we are not willing to forgive, it just fuels basically the fire. You're putting more timber. You're making the fire. You're making that distance between you and that person greater. And you're making the problem even worse. When you don't have the control of another person, their attitude and what they do, but you take back the control that maybe that person felt like they were taken away from you. You take back that control by forgiving them. And you can control what you are doing and what you see, what you say, and you can even control your attitude. And I just feel that when we are able to forgive, that it makes you and your life lighter and easier. Forgiveness is not a human idea, it's God. It's all God. We didn't come up with the idea of forgiveness. That came straight from God. The entire idea of forgiveness. Because there was no way for us to have a relationship with God without having forgiveness. And because of forgiveness, we are able to have a relationship with each other. Forgiveness, in this book that I read in Spiritual Disciplines Handbook, says forgiveness is a linchpin that makes relationships work. Because you imagine, think about it. Just about every one of us has had a relationship with somebody or is in a relationship with somebody that if you have not forgiven them at one time or another, you would not be in that relationship with that person right now. So forgiveness, because of forgiveness, it has created a situation where you're able to maintain your relationships. Not just with each other, but also our relationship with God. And that's what forgiveness does. But it's like we talked about earlier, relationship is a gift. It's a gift to the wrongdoer. And what happens is when we have forgiveness, it separates the wrongdoers from the wrong. Instead of looking at that person and only seeing what they've done wrong, then we're actually able to see the person once you forgive. You're able to see and remember, that's why I like that person in the first place. That's why I love that person in the first place. Once you're able to forgive them of what they did, because now you're able to look past, you're able to look over what they did or whatever the situation was and see that person again. I know it's hard.
Is that easy? Is that easy to do?
Is that easy? No, it's not easy to do. It's certainly not easy to do. It's probably one of the most difficult things in our lives to do. Go ahead.
I think sometimes we mistake forgiveness with tolerance. What would you say is the difference?
Difference between forgiveness and tolerance? Forgiveness, again, like I said earlier, is like a hard reset. It's going back to the basics. It's going back to whatever that relationship stemmed on, hinged on, what started you having a relationship. That's what forgiveness does. Tolerance means I'm just going to put up with this person. I'm just going to tolerate. Just go back to the base word, whatever. Tolerate. I'm just going to put up with their actions for, usually it's only because when you tolerate something, it's because of something that you're looking, a time or a situation that you're in with that person, that you have to tolerate them for so long, or that you have to tolerate them until you get whatever it is you're trying to get, or they get what they're trying to get, and then you move on.